Well, I would say that fundamentally the infrastructure in Tamil Nadu is something that has been quite good. So if you, for instance, consider traveling to a certain distance within a certain time frame as compared to certain other states which also boast of a lot of tourism, you find that it is a lot easier in Tamil Nadu to get around. And secondly, given the level of urbanization in the state, you also find that hotels are not difficult to get to. Communication is very good. You can get bookings, you can manage. All of this and documentation of many of the historic spots, heritage locations, I think is excellent. So that definitely speaks volumes for the fact that the fundamentals are very, very good. As to what can be improved upon, I would first say that the fundamental South Indian culture of not marketing yourself, I think that can definitely be improved upon, and we can flaunt what we have to a greater extent, which we don't do. The other, just like you have last mile connectivity, which we talk about in the field of communication, the last spot infrastructure, if I can call it that, I think that can do with a lot of improvement. For instance, toilets, largely lacking in 99% of the places which are not heritage or tourism locations. I'm talking about, say, places which are living heritage. Take, for instance, temples. Take, for instance, places that are of open interest, for instance, or take, for instance, a precinct like, say, Fort St. George or Tirumala Nayakar Mahal and things like that. That infrastructure, I think, is very badly lacking, point number one. Point number two, I would also say that information in those locations is lacking about what they have. So you find people come, they wander around, and then they go back. They don't know what they've come for. They don't know what they need to see. I think these are two very important aspects that really need to change in this state.
I'll first take all the complaints, then I'll come to you. So I'm coming to Songadwala. You were in the hotel industry, and Tamil Nadu also can boast of a lot of good hotels in all sectors, means from top end to low end. During the pandemic, the hotel industry was hit the hardest, if I can say so. How are you coping with that, particularly in the context of Tamil Nadu? What are the challenges you have faced? And as you are limping back to normalcy, what are the innovative things that you have done to attract tourists? Because there is also a fear about the pandemic. So how you have coped with and the kind of support that you are seeking from the government. So there are there are three parts in the story, that how you are coping with, how you are attracting tourists, and what kind of support you are looking from Mr. Chandra Mohan actually.
My stint in Tamil Nadu commenced exactly 2 years ago. February 2020, a month before COVID hit the world. So for me, my perspective of Tamil Nadu, when I came in here, expectations, everything, and not of the state, but unfortunately of the entire, the situation was shattered to bits with COVID. I was locked up here in this hotel, 600 rooms, with virtually nothing. We've got some apartments, so therefore there were some long-staying guests, etc., who were also stranded. So what we had to very quickly do was obviously learn to survive. Many hotels had chosen to cut their losses and shut down their operation. The employers and the hotel owners were frowned upon, saying, how can you do that? How can you, loss of jobs, etc. But at the end of the day, these guys said that there's only so much we can do to survive. I mean, an organization like ITC, of course, is blessed with a strong backing to be able to provide support to the families and the employees of those and their families who were working here, but everybody was not able to do that. So many people just decided to cut their losses and shut down the hotel. Save on electricity, save on overheads, etc. But those who chose to continue to remain open had to do a lot of reimagination, a lot of rethinking. They had to rewrite the entire storybook of how a hotel is run. We spent decades in developing and creating service designs, and within a period of 1 month, all those service designs changed. We were always known for welcoming our guests with open arms, a big broad smile, a warm shake of the hand. Suddenly you couldn't shake hands anymore. You couldn't show your face because half your face was covered, it still is, with a mask. We were rewriting the way things are done. Menus were not presented to guests anymore. People were hesitant to even take a pen from you to sign. Till about a decade and a half ago, people were welcomed with open arms. About in 2008, we started frisking people and looking for arms, and their baggage was checked for explosive devices. But now we were checking for temperature. I mean, who would have thought that? To survive, you had to demonstrate that you were entering a safe environment. Otherwise, nobody would have come to you. We learned the hard way. You have to demonstrate with your actions that you are doing all that you can to mitigate a perceived risk that may be there from going to a public place. Today, I look at this hall with extreme joy and pleasure to see this kind of a hall and this kind of people here in the hall, but at the same time, one is extremely nervous as well. Just last month, the government has now restricted or lifted the restriction of gatherings in banquet halls. It was first 100, then went up to 200, now it's up to 500, which we really welcome as a step going forward. But I think the government has been able to do it only after they've seen the kind of, or they had the kind of confidence today that the numbers are under control. And we are monitoring these numbers every day. So how did we survive? It's a nightmare that I would wish and hope that no industry would ever have to go through. What did we do to survive? We just had to rethink, relook at all our service designs. And what can we do to go better and go forward? A lot has already been done by the government. Restrictions as and when it was found feasible and practical were lifted, be it restaurants, be it occupancy in the banquet halls, etc. Now what we really look forward to is starting to bring back international arrivals. Tamil Nadu has got such a fabulous infrastructure for industry, and it has traditionally been a hub for international arrivals who have had industrial or have had economic interest here in Tamil Nadu. Our business model has revolved a lot around those kind of clients. We are looking forward to welcoming them back. This kind of a banquet hall, what we are sitting in is, you're just seeing 1/4 of the banquet hall. We've got this hall which is built to welcome large international conferences, which we did in the first decade of our operation. We are looking forward to having that back again and being able to showcase this beautiful state to the world once again.